Hello, I'm Carolyn McClellan, Chair of Chatham's Community Housing Partnership.
What is the Seasonal Communities designation and where did it originate?
The Seasonal Communities designation is part of the state's Affordable Homes Act of 2024. The state recognized the particular housing challenges facing communities in both Barnstable and Berkshire counties because of the large number of seasonal homes. Chatham automatically qualifies as a seasonal community because more than 35% of its homes are seasonal, but the designation has to be officially accepted by a majority vote at town meeting. Seasonal communities came about because Cape towns, including Chatham, through home rule petitions and other feedback to the legislature, kept asking for tools to create more year-round housing that was not tied to affordability. We also want to be able to create housing that would be able to be targeted to the year-round workforce, including teachers, firefighters, and others who earn too much to qualify for affordable housing.
What are the benefits to Chatham of accepting the Seasonal Communities designation?
Adopting the seasonal community designation would allow the town to establish a year-round housing trust and allow us to purchase year-round deed restrictions to create permanent year-round housing that wouldn't be tied to affordability. The town could also develop housing with a preference for year-round public employees, those essential to maintaining our year-round community, with teachers, first responders, and public work employees specifically mentioned in the legislature. Again, this will not be affordable housing, and it won't have the restrictions that affordable housing is subjected to. This would be the much-needed year-round housing. Seasonal communities also allows a town to give preference to housing artists, writers, and other creatives that are important to the cultural heritage of the Cape. Now, Chatham has proposed to take this one step further with a home rule petition, which is Warrant Article 50, that would extend this preference to the commercial fishing community, which is just as important to our cultural and economic heritage. The reality is that without the seasonal community designation, there is no mechanism in state law that would allow us to create year-round housing that is not tied to income restrictions and to give preference for that housing to be there for a year-round workforce.
What are the requirements of becoming a seasonal community?
There are 3 requirements to becoming a seasonal community. The first is acceptance of the designation by town meeting vote. The second is to adopt a zoning bylaw that allows for the development of year-round restricted tiny homes, which are defined as 400 square feet or less. And third, to adopt a zoning bylaw that allows for development of year-round attainable homes on undersized lots. We have been assured by Executive Office of the Housing and Livable Communities Secretary Ed Augustus that the extent of the new zoning bylaws will be up to the towns. The Seasonal Communities legislation specifies that development on the undersized lots would be subject to local sewer and septic regulations. Chatham will be able to craft its own bylaw and could include other local requirements in ways that make sense for Chatham. And of course, any zoning amendments would follow a process of public hearings with the planning board, and most importantly, would require approval at town meeting.
Why should the Seasonal Community designation be adopted at the 2025 annual town meeting?
While this is not a now and never situation, there are advantages to being an early adopter of the Seasonal Communities designation. The sooner we have the tools, the sooner we can act to address the shortage of year-round and attainable housing in Chatham. Towns that accept the Seasonal Communities will have priority in all the state's one-stop grant programs. Access to grant funding will allow the town to move forward on housing projects with fewer financial restrictions.